Good afternoon, everyone. Dignitaries on the dais. Uh, this afternoon, I am here to talk to you about the pioneering efforts made in Andhra Pradesh regarding financial inclusion. First, I look at the level of financial exclusion in the country. There are about 30,000 bank branches and 1.5 lakh post offices serving the country, but 51% of the rural households are still financially excluded, and about 44% of the total earners only have bank accounts, and 28% of them, of the total earners with income less than 50,000, have bank accounts, and only 54% have savings accounts, and only 13% of the total earners take any credit from the banks. And across the caste categories, that is the position. And financial inclusion, as you know, is about reaching out of banking services to the unbanked millions and also to many unserved areas. It is very important for development, and it should be done at affordable cost for the poor. And it has taken two ways. One is as a state-driven intervention, other as a voluntary effort, other as a business effort from the banks. AP Smart Card project is a state-driven intervention. It actually gives services at the village point, and we have concentrated on disbursement of Narega wages and also social security pensions. And this system depends on the BC model. It involves enrollment of the persons, of all the beneficiaries, and also issue of chip-based smart card to them. And payments are made based on biometric authentication. And there is a customer service provider at the village point. We have a strong SHG movement, so all these last mile functionaries are CSP women who act as the customer service provider. So there is a sustainability of service on all days of the week at the village point itself. And government takes the cost of all the entire system. We make a payment of 2% commission on the entire turnover of payments. And this is a bank-led model. So banks engage business correspondents, technology service providers, and the CSP services. This is the enrollment process and issue of smart card. And this is the business cycle, about how the data as well as fund passes from the government through an electronic financial management system, and from the bank to the business correspondent and ultimately to the CSP point. And from there, after the payments are made, the information flow comes back. So data is downloaded by means of GPRS, and biometric authentication is taken for every payment, and a printout is generated in duplicate, and one copy is given to the beneficiary along with the cash. Way back in 2007, we conducted the POC and the pilots, and after that we rolled it out on service area model. Because service area banks were not all that capable and not many of them showed interest, we had to do it on a one district, one bank model, because it is technology intensive and a lot of investments had to be made by the interested banker. And this is the amount kind of reach that we have achieved. Out of a total of 21,800 GPs, we have covered more than 18,000 GPs so far. And out of a target of 188 lakhs, we have so far carded 142 lakhs of beneficiaries, and cards have been issued to 134 lakhs. And so far, the turnover made out, payments made is exceeded 5,000 crores of rupees as on date. There are several challenges because not many banks have any previous experience. This is a pioneering effort. And also, over the years, we have improved the entire systems. BPR is a continuous process. And cash management, reaching out cash to every village point is a new demand in financial inclusion efforts. So cash management is not geared beyond the suburban, semi-urban areas. So beyond that point, to go to the village point to take the cash is a big challenge. That it's a great service the business correspondents are doing. And service area approach has not been all that helpful because of various reasons, as I told you. So it cannot be entirely relied on. However, the government banks, it is very natural for them that they are organized already on the service area approach. So they will take up that model. So there should be a level playing ground for the private sector also, unless there is competition. Really, financial inclusion services are not going to roll out any soon. So we, with our experience, advocate a free regime. Like mobile services have gone to all over the country in a very short time and with great success. In the same manner, these outreach of banking services also should happen with an open competition regime. And yesterday, Secretary IT had mooted an idea of service as a right. And financial inclusion from the rights approach, how I look at it, is rural areas should be served on the same terms, if it is technically possible, as urban areas are served. So all the services should go to the villages. Initially, RBI has made out a policy that 4 basic banking services should go. One is deposit, other credit, insurance, and remittances. So these 4 basic services will roll out soon. And with competition from the private bankers, I am quite sure that all the possible services will go as far as connectivity goes. Connectivity is a major constraint, and cash management is another critical constraint as far as outreach of banking services are concerned. And people are demanding services, they need services, and they should be served. They should be served with choice. So monopoly or monopolistic competition situation is not going to help them. So quality of service and choice to the customer is going to be very critical if financial inclusion effort in India has to succeed. So as I said, public sector banks will continue their services on the service area approach, but open competition is very much required. And all of us are aware that in the rural areas, credit is still in the hands of unorganized sector, in the hands of money lenders. And in the modern days, they have also corporatized. Now there are MFIs who are lending at huge rates of interest, and AP is a state where MFIs are very active, so we had to take steps for their regulation also. Ultimately, services should go to the people should have a choice, and they should be cost effective. Reasonable cost only should be charged from them. Usurious rates of interest, high costs of services is something we should guard against in this effort. Thank you.